My email is dwmlawpro@aol.com.
So that's DWMLAW at, and what's the server again? AOL.
AOL.com.
Got it.
It's
That's
on the
simple.
screen, Will. It's
Okay, good.
dwmlawpro@aol.com.
Okay, good. So they can get back to you. What would be like, for example, okay, they're going to email you. Let's say we heard that we should have been provided a circumstance, and then what would you tell them? I mean, where do they start? Even if they emailed you, and then where do you start? How do you explain that to them? Where do you begin?
Well, I'd like to see what kind of contract they got, how long they've been in the property, what their volition was to enter into a contract in the first place.
Okay. Okay.
You know, some of these people they've been living in a home, but they don't actually own it. I mean, they bought the house, they put it in trust. The trust owns it. Only they're the ones that are trying to sue for it. The trust owns it. So
Right.
that's misrepresentation.
Right.
So I'm going to know exactly to see who's the
Or
new owner,
which
who the new
trust.
seller is, and then I can work backwards from there.
In 1998, as I was going to mention, I've taken advantage of this opportunity. My money, I had a very large trust. It was being handled by Bank of America here locally and a firm called Kunath, Karen, Rini, and Atkins. I didn't know that this Mr. Michael S. Kunath was a snake, very extreme. The guy should have been arrested for what he was doing and stealing, including using other devious means to control his clients. The man still should go to jail. But anyway, so I couldn't find an attorney.
A person like that, I just syntax whatever he wrote, and we can prosecute him under Title 15, Section 1692E for fraud and misleading statements. Because he signed the paperwork, we have a signed concession, and he's facing 25 years in prison and a $30 million fine.
It's long overdue, but anyway, so I couldn't find an attorney here. At that time, I felt I didn't know I could write my own cases. Eventually, I did. But I went to a law firm out of Houston, Arizona, Bel Air, Texas, named Joe Eisen, I-Z-E-N, and his assistant named Vance Boudreaux, which I had no idea, had already spent 8 years in the federal penitentiary for ripping off the Moody Trust. They proceeded, I retained them to come up here. He said he could work pro hoc vice, and then turns around, creates a phony trust with my name on it, this Vance Boudreaux, and then this party named Rochelle Perosk here in Seattle, claiming to be an IRS former attorney, and her two friends, Terry Heston and Bill Schroeder. Terry Heston apparently works for the mob here, stealing cars. These guys are licensed locksmiths. She should have been arrested, this group, like a little mob operation. They went in, broke into my house, forged my signature on all the titles to everything I owned, and transferred them over to this trust with my name on it. I proved it was forgery. I was an extreme target here. Their whole goal was to completely financially destroy me, which they did. And so they proceeded to create this William P. Wilson Enterprise Trust, transferred all they were locksmiths, so they were able to go into my house and get everything, my aware that this is what was going on. Came out to my house one day and it didn't belong to me anymore. Literally everything I had owned was stolen. I was an extreme target. Apparently this ties into this Mr. Kunath. Apparently he's tied to the mob as well. And when you're an extreme target like I have been, and then you find out how corrupt the Northwest is anyway, when I went and filed my own cases in Superior Court, Judge Doherty, D-O-E-R-T-Y, not only filed sanctions against me, but dismissed my case that I had to try to file to get my property back after going to 5 attorneys here, which I call them criminals.
But if you filed your case and ad verb, you didn't say anything.
I probably did.
It was only a condition of malice against the other party, even though you're the victim.
Yeah.
You victimize yourself because you didn't use the correct parse syntax grammar.
Well, see, I didn't know any of that. Then I had to file in federal.
Nobody does, even except the judge. The judge knew better.
Right.
He knew that the attorney was licensed to lie, and you weren't.
No,
I rules in favor of the licensed attorney.
Well, these
Every
attorneys.
time they filed a motion to dismiss, the only thing you were in court to do is to a parse syntax grammar document
I
to
did.
prosecute them for fraud.
Okay, I can.
Which would put you in the driver's seat.
Well, I need to talk to you more about that. But in the meantime,
We will.
when you find out that the Bar Association here is nothing but an organized crime syndicate, I had to file again a case in federal district court where Judge Kuhnauer, another crime syndicate judge, dismisses that case. And as you're supposed to report federal crimes to a federal judge anyway. So we're finding out that this whole so-called judicial system is nothing but an organized crime syndicate anyway.
Wait. You left the state of California. You left the state of Washington State, and you entered a foreign vessel in dry dock.
Okay.
A foreign vessel under a foreign flag, and because you're on a foreign vessel, you're a foreign agent speaking Babel in adverb verb, writing Babel in adverb verb
Okay.
on a foreign vessel, and so the subjective interpretation of the judge was to vacate your position and not arrest you under Title 46, Chapter 781 Maritime Law of Salvage. He could have salvaged you for trespassing because you didn't have a case in court, even though you thought you did. You said nothing about nothing to nobody, and so therefore you were trespassing.
No kidding.
And that's how they harvest the people.
No
Now,
kidding.
after the fact, you want to sit down with me, I'll teach you how to do it the correct way so you not only can win, but then get all restitution that's due you.
I definitely am going to talk to you about that. Go ahead, Keith.
So I would like to go back to your.
Nobody ever tells the public how to do it right. They only just keep talking about adverb verb and say, go hire an attorney and make sure the lie is complete.
Right.
So that you absolutely don't say anything. And the lawyer, now that he knows, or even suspects that you know who I am or what my technology is, will go in there and fix you at the first volley so that you can't come back and get them. These are the things you have to pay attention to.
I've got a family problem with three brothers of mine who are part of this whole operation that I need to address because my three brothers also are criminal in this. I'll talk to you more about it. But anyway, Pat was also a target where they forged. Pat, right?
Multiple different episodes with mine, so it would have to be a long explanation. Sorry. People.
Yeah, but she's been through it as well.
Well,
Go ahead, Keith.
what I was wanting to find out, I think you pointed it out, on the mortgages, basically the bank has created a trust. So the question that I have, when someone is going to be going into court, is it that when the banks go in there, they're supposed to be representing themselves, and this trust document that's created, the people representing the trust.
If a trust has been created that I did not write, I will absolutely certify you it is 100% fraud.
So when the banks go in there and into a court, and the attorneys or representatives are going in there, they are representing the bank and not the trust. So therefore, from that position, the first motion probably should be, or is it true or not, to dismiss the case because there's nobody to represent the, or I shouldn't probably say represent, to present themselves as being looking after the interests of the trust bank. Did that make sense?
The banks are going to, okay, all judges are bankers and all bankers are judges, so of course the sharks are going to swim together and not eat each other. Professional ethics, it's called.
By the way, real fast, David, I have received emails from viewers who have mentioned that they've also been targeted where their estates were stolen. That's one of the reasons I brought this up. And I did want to bring up the names of these people that had defrauded me. Not that I'm saying everything like it is. That's what they did. And anyway, there's quite a few people that are watching our program that are going through mortgage circumstances right now, including some that have emailed me, quite a few, since you have been on our program. I'm getting more emails than ever, that they have mentioned the theft of their estates, forgery, things like that, which is rampant, which is going on everywhere. What would you recommend for people like that? How would they go about learning more about this so that they can try to get their properties back or save their properties from foreclosure?
Anybody that has had their property already stolen and is out of the house, they can still take their existing mortgage contract when it was signed. There's no statute of limitations for fraud.
Okay.
And go back and sue for $87,400 a year caretaker fee for all the years they were in that property.